could very easily be a first pick here. Notably as well, Ziggs is also left up on the board, something that EDG has really relied upon throughout a lot of this year. So support, bot lane, mid lane, all options. It's going to be the Ezreal as the lock-in for Leva. Very long-standing signature pick for him.
It is. Gotta say, that man goes a little too ham with his arcane shifts sometimes. And, you know, I've seen one too many of them. I will hold my judgment till we get into the game. Leave's going to be on a little bit of a safer pick in the bot lane, though. This does set up BLG to take a little bit of an advantage over that. They know what kind of style Leave wants to bring, and they know they can put some pressure here as they lock in the Camille for On.
You're getting your wish, Mazel. You're getting On's Camille. And,
Game one.
I'm very excited to see that. Yeah, I think the Ezreal is almost in preparation of like, well, On's going to be roaming and destroying our entire map. We might as well get some sort of AD carry that can survive on the bottom side. You're very right, though. Ezreal can be a little feast or famine, and we're not done with the spicy picks coming in here. Shun's Lee Sin is coming through as well. I mean, you wanted a skill check comp. We're getting a skill check comp from BLG.
And that I'm a massive Shun fan. I have been, will be. This is one of the picks I've been really impressed at his growth on, because even looking back a year ago, it wouldn't have been a pick up like, oh man, you better watch out for Shun's Lee Sin, right? And there were some performances, but now that it's come back into the meta and he's been showing such mechanical proficiency, I really hope it's still there when we come back to the draft. But man, that Lee Sin has been really good for Shun so far this split and this year.
It's been really fun watching Lee Sin come back into the meta and become this big priority pick again. You know, I don't think you really understand what you have until it's gone. And when Lee Sin's been out of the meta for the last couple of years, at least in terms of consistency, I've missed him. I've missed this early aggression. I've missed this constant skirmishing with a lot of skill expression. Shun has been on fire in general. Yeah, I want my insect plays back. I want these crazy outplays. Hey, bring him back in general. LPL legend. But, you know... Yeah, I think...
more classic?
I think... Yeah. I think, in general, I'm just excited to see Shun on something that he can have that early game pressure on. I think this is a meta where he's thrived, mostly because he has so much control over the map. And, you know, I think Lee Sin definitely doubles down on that.
So, I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit. Tonight, I'm very, very biased because I'm getting to watch 3 of my top favorite junglers. In Dede, Tarzan, and Shun. I know people are gonna be like, but Dede, why? The guy's a world champion. Got to watch him in that run. That was such a big moment for me in my LPL fandom, but as well as the guy was good, man. Like his cerebral pathing and especially his poppy, I think is second to none in the LPL. And I want to see that version of Dede come back. I always have hope. But hopefully we'll be getting, speaking of hope, getting back into the draft here. This is the second draft in a row, at least between series and the first game, that we've had a problem.
I'm so sorry, Mazel. It's really been plaguing the night so far in terms of these drafts. But yeah, anybody who doesn't know about like Jeje and what he's been able to do at his absolute best, I mean... This guy's the world champion for a reason. You want to talk about somebody who just completely, I don't want to say reinvented the game, but like 2021 EDG was so strong, was so effective, and so much of that was through the power that he could create in the jungle. Hopefully he can bring some of that to EDG now. It's not exactly been the best, you know, past year and a half or 2 years for Jeje, but, you know, we'll see as we fly back through, and it looks like we are going to be getting the same picks here.
Lock in the Lee Sin, please. Yeah, okay, cool. We're good. We're good. Everything's good. Everything's good. No problems. But now we got to start thinking about the final couple picks for EDG. They need to not only layer up something with the Ezreal that can be moving out of the lane and get some proactivity going on the map, they also want to find something to contest Shun's Lee Sin. The Skarner, actually the choice. Not too bad.
I'm okay with this, especially now that you've locked in the Syndra as well. Syndra is going to be a really strong pick here in the mid lane. It's going to be pretty difficult if you want to answer with the Rise to be able to match that kind of damage and teamfight potential. It's clear what EDG are setting up for. You've got that big primary tank in the Skarner that's going to be a little bit slower in the early game, but has some potential for the later part of the game. Ezreal can stay very safe, and the Syndra is going to be a massive threat. The Rise is going to be the answer. Knight's Rise is obviously terrifying. This is also Bulldog's most played champion across this split by a very large margin. So a bit of a takeaway here in Fearless as well. The proactivity of BLG in the early game is going to be the priority, whereas EDG, I think, are going to be setting themselves up for some more scaling.
Yeah, I'm curious at the Rise pick here. Nothing too flashy for Knight, nothing too out of the ordinary. Just going to go for a stock standard scaler here for him. We are getting some preliminary focuses in the second phase already. The Shen has a really good matchup into the Camille banned away. I wonder if the Bard also joins that too.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Shen was the obvious choice. Rel is another champion that I think you just have to consider because Parukia is such a Rel enjoyer. And
really good.
Just from a player perspective, you probably want to ban that one out. But plenty of engagers still left up on the board. Nautilus is still left up as well if they want to go for that. Any sort of roamer that's going to be effective in a team fight, I think is going to be fine enough here for EDG. Which makes me wonder if you just want to ban out top laners instead and just say, like, we don't want you on something this safe or something that can take over. The Vayne is actually going to be the first ban for EDG, so that makes sense. And as I said, they lot coming through.
Really respecting the Wenbo Vayne.
Yeah.
Ven, you know, just go with
Ven.
the naming convention.
Vaynbo.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that they're willing to spend a ban on that, but I guess just a little bit worried about what could be. Do you want to see as the Yorick? That one I'm like, okay, that one's good.
Yeah.
Wenbo's Yorick has been terrifying in the side lane.
That one makes a lot of sense. This, to me, shows, like, EDG are expecting to have to blind pick top, and they're like, we might want to pick Gnar, and if we do end up picking Gnar, then maybe we just want the Vayne off the board, right? Maybe we don't want to worry about it too much. They're not going to have to, though. Jace is going to be the lock-in here for Wenbo. This is obviously a champion that he has had some success on. He's 1-0 this split, so that's very good. Everybody really plays Jace at a high-end level. I think in terms of blind pick tops, this makes a lot of sense. If you want to answer with damage like the Rumble, I think that would create a more overall cohesive game plan for what EDG want to do in the late game in terms of their team fights, but might create a bit more of a difficult matchup for ZDZ individually.
Could be, but I said it. I want ease of execution, man. I don't see anything easier than just land an impale and throw all your ults at it. Like, I think it feels really good, especially if you get the Rel here for Parukia. Could be any engager, but I really like the Rel.
Yeah, I agree. Rel is just really comfortable for this team, and you want that comfort. You have built yourself a 5v5 comp that wants to play for the late game, and having that free engage for Rel is going to make a lot of sense. I mean, Alistar, Nautilus, all of these champions would do similar things in the right position, but again, that comfort just makes a lot of sense, and there it is.
Love the lock-in here for them, as we still do have ADC or /APC on the table. Viper has been a mage aficionado, and I know Ziggs has been a little bit of a problem child, it feels like, in terms of letting it through. It's been banned away a lot, but it is going to get locked in for BLG.
I'm a huge believer in Ziggs, and BLG's comp is now very established. We keep talking about the team fighting potential of EDG. You have Jace and you have Ziggs on the side of BLG. That is a siege comp. You are built around playing for these side lanes and being able to play through your range. If Lee Sin and Ryze can be these big playmakers with the Camille in the mid game, if you get any gold onto either Jace or especially Ziggs in this mid game, BLG are just going to snowball this game completely out of control. EDG basically have to buy their time, but BLG should have a lot of control over the direction this game goes early on.
And I do personally like the Ziggs into the Ezreal. You can get some good poke down. You have that range to stave off the Mystic shots. And it seems like BLG are respecting EDG a bit in this game, number one, with the style they're bringing out. I love that both teams have a little bit of differentiation on how they want to execute the strategies, where those big power picks are going to be. But I think those first focuses that we laid out in the mid, in the jungle, are going to be extremely integral. I'm looking at Shun to get something going for BLG, to rev up the motor after a tough 2-0 loss. And for EDG, I just want to see signs of life. The funny thing is the only game that EDG have won out of 1-14 record was against BLG in the first series, the first round between these two teams. So we'll see if they can make magic happen again, or maybe push it all the way. EDG versus BLG, the final series of the night. Game 1 kicks off now. Love to
A
hear
much
the
more
gyro.
even gyro than I expected, as Kman is potentially caught out here.
300 total
Damage.
games together. That's cute.
Crazy, considering, you know, Shun was on JDG last year.
The
Like, we had a
revolving
break
door?
in between there. Yeah, it's definitely wild that that has been the case, that BLG has played enough games to be in that spot. But it just goes to show just how long BLG has been relevant. I think we sometimes look at them as the new blood here in the LPL. This is a team that has been dominant over the past couple of years, and I think that has definitely showcased itself not only so far this split, but throughout this year. Is EDG's going to take a very aggressive trade.
Oh, nice knockback there. Leave, though, taking a huge hit of damage from Viper. That's what On wants to do. He just wants to distract with his health bar. Heavy 2v2s in the bot lane. We saw the heal used as that aggressive tool by Parukia.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good trade by EDG to be able to get the push in early here, as Ezreal and Rel is actually going to create quite a bit of advantage for them, getting that level 2 quick. Leaf kind of needs to be on an island throughout most of this game. He needs to have the resources in order to survive on his own, and I think being able to get a small lead early on in the game is definitely going to help him in that regard, as we definitely see the junglers also pathing towards the bottom, or the top side of the map, which is going to make it even more important to continue to have this push.
Wonder if they're willing to go all the way and try to contest over the Scuttle Crab. We do see the buffered hook shot come through from On. That was actually really nicely done. But yeah, I just wonder the skirmishing potential between the two junglers. I mean, I feel like they both have some fighting strength here, and they're both going to finish off at this Scuttle Crab. One of them might have to just back down and go down towards bot.
Yeah, my big worry here for Jeje is that he's not really going to have any lane states that are going to be able to help him all that much. All three of these lanes should be pretty heavily pushing in favor of BLG early. I mean, the Rise is going to get pushed out here, but the moment he gets back into lane, he's going to be just fine and could be okay to be able to roam alongside Bulldog, try to create those numbers advantages. For now, Shin's going to be the first one to make his way down to the crab, and they are going to see each other.
Okay, Didje started up first. Down to smite range. Didje will end up getting that one under full vision. So unfortunately, Shun looks like he might just lose out on double scuttle with some of the movement from Parukia.
Incredibly well done here by Jeje and by Parukia. So we're going to take a look. It doesn't look like he is going to, you know, overextend and greed for it, considering On is already at that second scuttle. Just going to be a trade overall, so not too much lost out on the side of BLG, but even being able to go neutral, that's EDG's goal. I want to continue to hammer that home. If EDG could continue to grab things on the map at relatively neutral pace, then they're going to feel pretty good about this early game, as Viper's just going to try and clear out for free on the bot side.
As long as they don't get caught in the craziness, as long as they don't get caught by the trap of BLG wanting to be proactive. I think that's super important for EDG, because if we look at the track record, I don't think that that has been the way they've approached some of these games. But we do see a lot of presence down towards the bot side now that both junglers are resetting. Do wonder, though, with the prio on the early game for BLG, if they're going to be willing to kind of push the mantle here into the Dragons, as we have about 45 seconds for the first one to spawn.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive BLG want to be with their trades. Is I'm going to take yet another more aggressive trade. We'll just say in the mid lane here, Teleport has been burned already by Bulldog, and Knight obviously already did that recall in the same vein. So both of these mid laners going to be trying to duke it out for as much lane control as they can get for that dragon spawn in 30 seconds. Would be a little bit more surprised if we get any early takes from Lee Sin or Skarner. That's definitely doubled down by the fact that both of them are currently at least pathing towards the top screen.
Leaf actually didn't lose out on that much after that back came through, so that's actually pretty valuable for him, getting the tier, getting a long sword as well, and the boots on top of it all. So has a little bit of a smorgasbord of partial components, but also didn't lose out too much on the map, and now it's going to try to return that favor back to Viper, I guess the disfavor of the opposite of that. Both junglers still pretty quiet in the early parts of the game here, and Dede maybe trying to get involved into this push and top side.
Yeah, ZDZ is not quite level 6 yet, but he's very close. He's actually going to take over just now. Wenbo's in a little bit of danger here.
That's the equalizer down. Wenbo flashes early. Slowdown's coming through. Shin's coming over to try to save him. He's going to go for the to the skies, but it's not going to be enough. Maybe Shun can get the fight back. He does get the kill now, and Shun will look on to Dede. Got to remember, this Lee Sin does have a good amount of damage in the early parts of the game, especially with his combos. You can see that right there. But it is a trade 1-1 and still a dead even game in the top lane.
Honestly, that's still very good for EDG. Being able to get that first blood onto Skarner in particular is really important for being able to contest a lot of these objectives as you go forward. Getting that double Giants belt onto the Skarner early just makes him a little bit more of a threat going into the Lee Sin in some of these skirmishes. And I said it before, I'll say it again, going neutral at all in these exchanges is already a positive. Being able to pick up that first blood and be able to salvage what was a top lane state that wasn't particularly positive is okay. Fortunately, the wave's not going to be in an ideal spot for ZDZ, but should be fine nonetheless.
Though I will say, I raise you, Lee Sin having 1 kill or Skarner having 1 kill. Which one do you choose?
Well, you know, the Lee Sin's certainly going to be able to use that kill a little bit
2
more.
Giants belts or a tunneler and 2 longswords? That's a further conversation.
Great deal. Yes. Unfortunately for EDG, I don't think the Giants belts are going to be able to hold up at this dragon take, especially with Knight coming down. And that should be free first objective for BLG. We expected this. They're really good at understanding exactly when they should and should not be able to control every objective. And being able to start stacking these dragons for free is definitely going to help with their scaling.
Move back out onto the map here with just that early dragon taken by BLG. Grubs are coming up on the other side. Both junglers going to be pathing up that way with their camps coming back up at least. And we're going to start seeing the influence of Parukia and On joining up with the jungle here, I'm sure, at the Grubs. As we've seen them try to find some ganks, try to find some avenues here with the solo lanes, but nothing has truly paid off just yet for the influence from the support role.
Yeah, I think that really starts to unlock now that we're taking a look at Knight's Realm Warp, you know, really getting online. He's been level 6 for a good bit of time, but the game state has settled down a bit. Whether they want to move this Rise around or just keep Camille with the Lee Sin, I think it's going to be really important towards how aggressive BLG want to be in this mid-game. Wenbo has a massive advantage for himself, and On is going to do quite a bit of damage to Parukia on this Rel. Unfortunately,
support, by the way.
Yeah, support, by the way. You know, classic
support gameplay. I'm just going to keep saying that all night. I'm just going to keep saying every time I see Camille, I'm just going to say support, by the way. Does so much damage, by the way. Grubs does get started up, but this is kind of dry here by Dede. Doesn't have support of the lanes. Does have some prio in mid lane, but will take the first grub out from under the nose of BLG. I think he'll get the second one too, but he's gonna have to leave the third. Shun going for the kick, goes on the other side of the Gestalt's impact, but DJ is gonna flash on the other side. Realm Warp coming in from Knight, and he doesn't get scattered the weak. The Realm Prison should be able to connect, and Zezé will just go down to the golden left hand.
I was so prepared to call that a good play. On! He's just gonna die!
Power unleashed! Oh my god, he healed. He healed. Oh my god, he's alive now. ZDZ is dead too. Knight is just picking up kills left and right, and there goes Wenbo with his first. Knight just making the rounds here.
It is chaos on the Rift, Mazel. I was waiting for this game to heat up, and we got it there. Gonna get potentially a chance to talk about what that means for the game as a whole. Just a big mistake, in my opinion, from Jeje. It's great that he's able to pick up that 1 kill. Bulldog able to survive just barely on the back end of that fight. It's great that Jeje's able to pick up that 1 grub, but going for the second is a massive mistake, just overstaying. There was really no reason to die for that second grub. Shun able to pick up that kill alongside Knight's Realm Warp. We talked about that level 6 power spike. That's way too much gold now in the pocket of BLG when they should control this entire mid game.
And I know I've been playing way too much Riftbound since my brain is seeing that in a calm deck interaction. Just a defy of a defy of a defy, and then a Rengar comes out. And that's Knight, I guess. Satchel Charge does come through to deny DJ at first. Viper will still fall. The turrets are kicking, but the Impale goes a little bit wide. On is the only one left under turret. Now he's going to be rounded out. Dede wants to find the angle here. Parukia does find the initial CC. The flash, but it's Leave who just starts tanking the turret. That's 2 games in a row I've seen ADCs tank turrets, and now it's catastrophe as Sonic Wave doesn't connect, but will make sure to connect the kill. 3-0 for his Lee Sin.
We gotta have some sort of lesson in the LPL about AD carries not taking these tower shots on these dives because it continues to backfire every single play that they're making. This looked so good for EDG. We're gonna get a replay originally here of the Grubs play. Again, the big mistake is not taking 1 grub, it's taking the second grub. Just staying way too long. Shun's able to collapse really easily. The Realm Warp just opens up the map even more, and Knight obviously gets another free assist on the top side as well, with Wenbo just so pushed in against ZDZ, who is so low health. it's just not salvageable overall for EDG. But that dive on the bottom side is a disaster. We got another play happening top.
Oh, man. They are just bullying him. He's not going to go down just yet, though. We're actually taking a look back at this one. Yeah, they live, and we're looking at the fight that happened and the unfortunate situation EDG put themselves in.
Yeah, this looks so good. I mean, if they just don't have Ezreal take the tower shot, this play is actually so positive for them because JJ can tank the tower forever.
Bro.
Leave just screws it up.
No one was even close.
Yeah, he just attacks way too fast, takes the tower aggro. Shin's in a perfect spot to be able to capitalize. That's probably a 2-for-1 anyways, but a 2-for-1 is really good for EDG in this instance. Shun getting the double kill, and then another kill going down onto the side of Viper as well. It's just worst case scenario for EDG.
I mean, Shun's on 1.5 items now as well. As I guess we're taking a look back at what happened to start that play in the top side as preemptive flash came through there, so he won't have that flash available. ZDZ won't. Dragon is spawning now. Would be second dragon for BLG, but they already find themselves 2,000 gold up, and it might just get even bigger. Bulldog taking advantage of in the mid lane. You cannot stop them. The burn is not going to be enough. He does survive, but gets everything burned on top of him.
Yeah, that's the most support, by the way, interaction I've seen today. There's been quite a few, but I think that one was definitely the most aggressive on just exerting his will across the map. That's going to be free dragon for BLG. There's absolutely no way you can contest when you have no mid laner for this objective. Parukia is going to be in the area, but he's just going to be trying to get vision. Dragon stacking is really important for BLG to stay relevant as this game goes along, and now that we know it's going to be Chemsoul, it's still going to be a pretty good game state for BLG to continue their pressure in the mid game. God, Wenbo just so much damage.
He's got a 2-level lead, by the way.
Yeah.
Not too shabby, as Equalizer is going to be used just to make sure that ZDZ can get the wave. Wenbo going for the solo polo. Oh my god, he's going to die.
Oh, no.
Okay, he got the kill back. ZDZ will be able to rest assured that he at least got the trade, but Wenbo just trying to feel out his pressure.
Denied cannon. Worth. That's what you're typing in chat there. You know, I think at this point it doesn't even really matter. Wenbo trading gold is good for both of them. Wenbo's going to be really accelerated here in the mid game because of that Youmuu's, and ZDZ has still yet to complete that first item, so Rumble's not even online yet. EDG looking to try to get anything anywhere else on the map, but this is the big problem when you're playing into things like Ryze and Ziggs. Just play really safe. That being said, on.
Oh, beautiful Hextech ultimatum to get out of the initial burst, but he still gets impaled nonetheless. Dede comes for us all, I guess. And Dede got his first Heartsteel stats. Congratulations.
He did it. He's actually starting to get on the board. He has 2 kills. I mean, Skarner does scale relatively well, and that is a decent mistake from On, giving free gold over to EDG. That's something you don't really want to do in this game state, but Shun's going to look to equalize that once again on poor ZDZ on the top side here, potentially. Maybe not. He's going to disengage.
He's going to stop today. He's going to get to keep his lunch money, which is very nice. But unfortunate for EDG, because if you look at the map, Kman, there's a lot of red wards. And love that toggle from the observers, showing the 1 ward that EDG has. And, yep, they couldn't see this coming even if it was a bullet train on a track. As Satchel Charge will take down the turret as well on the side. That's going to be first turret, and gold just continues to drop from the sky into the pockets of BLG.
There's just no counterplay to these plays right now. You're absolutely right, Mazel. It's a great call out that vision control has been entirely in favor of BLG, and that's the advantage you get with Camille. You know, people talk about her combat pressure. It's nice just taking camps away from Jeja at this point, but people talk about, you know, Camille roaming and creating a lot of skirmish potential. The big advantage to me for Camille is the fact that she can go anywhere she wants and get vision control because she's so scary on her own. You don't really need to babysit her to be able to go around the map and be able to grab control over vision. They've done a great job of that. Herald is on the map now. That's definitely going to be the objective for Shun. Again, complete darkness. There's no way this Skarner can walk in, and everyone from BLG is here.
Got some wards in the pit and on the back. Ooh, Leave was thinking that On was going to go for him there. Parukia comes back out and redeploys. TP coming in as well. Bulldog coming to the fight. A little bit late to the play here, but so is BLG. Maybe they just pull off of this one. They're going to let the Rift Herald reset.
Definitely interesting here from BLG. They don't really want to stand their ground. They're much better at being able to control side lanes and be able to get vision control over an objective. It's not really as good for them to fight from neutral, despite how strong they are right now. think they don't want to make any sort of massive mistake, and that's going to lead to EDG actually having priority over this Herald.
All right, the Rift Herald already down about half. And TP coming in. Oh my god, they're just going to bring everybody. Wenbo's coming. The siege could work. Viper and Wenbo, but the Rift Herald already goes over to Dede, takes the eye, and gets out. I was talking about hesitancy for EDG. They aren't hesitant there. BLG is the one that was a little hesitant to overextend, as they didn't want to pull the play off.
Yeah, I am a little surprised they don't go for anything on that play, especially considering the resources they use to try and make that happen. Wenbo's teleport, most notably being a pretty big cooldown that is now burned off of that play for you to get nothing. So it's a good win for EDG. I understand the hesitancy for BLG because their comp isn't really built to fight in these close quarter skirmishes if, you know, ZDZ and Bulldog are going to be there. But I do think it is a small win for EDG to pick up that Herald and get the summoner cooldown from Wenbo.
Yeah, they've been able to scrape away a decent amount of those topside neutral objectives. Obviously, the Dragons have been going the way of BLG. And we have the next iteration of this setup here. Dragon number 3 for BLG, potentially putting them on a soul point, will be in about 20 seconds.
Definitely going to be important for BLG. We keep talking about how stacking these dragons is really relevant towards their scaling, and I think that continues to be even more the case. You're going to potentially be a target here. God, I'm so scared to hear this Ezreal, man.
Yeah, and especially now that you have Flash, you really need to use it in the opportune time. I know Leave has gone down many a time with Flash up when he needed to use it. Today, it's the time that he locks in. Dragon spawned. Dede tries to go on, just goes over Ham onto the backline, onto Bulldog. Bulldog goes down to Shun. Shun looking for the return. Shock blast into Shun, following through with the double kill. They might try to set this one up. I love the long con here. They just go for the blow up special here. Shun gonna heal up a little bit more as well. The bouncing bomb gets a Viper, takes him down from a distance, and a double comes through for BLG.
Bilibili is just too strong in this engage. It looks like a very greedy, over-aggressive engage from On, and Parukia actually plays it really well with the peel on the Rel ultimate. It's just not enough. BLG has too much damage at this point in the game. We're going to get a replay. This is crazy from On. The angle that he sees here, because Jeje is so disconnected from his backline, is really smart. But look at the disengage coming in from Parukia. Shun is able to get on Bulldog, but at this point, it's basically a free 1-for-1. You just have to try and get out. Unfortunately, Leave. Face tanking the Jace Shock Blast is probably not the best move he can make as the Ezreal in that instant. Shun, so aggressive on this Lee Sin at this point, is going to be taking a ton of damage, but you can't really kill that champ if he's going to be able to free hit. Viper also hitting on the backline. BLG just understand that they can play this skirmish out a little bit better, and that's why they're able to take advantage, grab that soul point on that Chem Soul, and continue to push this game forward firmly in their control with the 6K gold lead.
And call me crazy, maybe contradicting my own self, but that's sometimes why I like seeing our LPL players play mages, is we're going to see another engage in the topside jungle, and Shun just absolutely eviscerates ZDZ. No longer has a health bar. It will be a 1-for-1 trade, but the turret also falls. Oh my god, double turrets go down for BLG. But what I was going to say, Kman, is I love actually sometimes watching... Okay, I just don't get to speak. Bulldog
never get a chance.
Getting sprayed down by Wenbo. He should be... Okay, he's going to go to the alcove. Now he's in trouble. I think Wenbo's in some trouble too. Yeah, Dede, Parukia, Bulldog, even Leave coming over and try to join up with the fight. Bulldog will get the kill. And anyways, LPL ADCs playing mages, sometimes they play them more aggressively than I've seen in other regions, and I think that's kind of cool. I've seen so many of our top APCs now, Viper, Jackie Love, flashing point blank into somebody to land a skill shot. I think that's awesome to see.
You gotta love the aggression. I mean, Viper has never been scared to play any of these mages, but seeing him play them essentially like he's playing a bruiser is really fun. I mean, I'm sure they feel pretty unlocked with this new meta, and Ziggs in particular is one of the best in order to do that if you want to be this more aggressive, you know, engage style AP mage down on the bottom side. Ziggs just has so many different tools. I think he's arguably the best champion in the game right now. Viper definitely showcasing that in this fight. He's a huge reason why this 7.5k gold lead is the way that it is. He has a 2k gold lead himself. Even with only 3 kills, he's been able to dominate this side lane alongside Wenbo. You know, I highlighted the advantage of drafting Jace and Ziggs together in the draft phase, and all that BLG has done is utilize that to an absolutely ridiculous extent by getting basically every tower on the map already.
That is troublesome. Things are kind of working out how we expected between these two teams so far. It is only game number 1, but an 8,000 gold differential is very hard to come off of, and the fact that we're also 1 dragon away from Soul. Rifterald got played in the mid lane. Oh, it's looking dead. On is so down in levels, but it doesn't even matter because he is just a nuisance. Now Shun, he's a little bit overextended, gets impaled instantaneously by JJ, and a really nice play from EDG. I think BLG are getting caught a little bit here with disrespecting their opponent with the way that they were playing that fight. EDG will take that 10 times over.
Yeah, we talk about this being a skill check comp from BLG. They've done a pretty good job up until this point, but on completely whiffing the hook shot and then Shun just going in with no damage, not exactly an ideal way to start off that fight, and they're going to be pretty heavily punished for it. Shouldn't matter too much, but it is a good comeback for EDG. Remember, this is still a comp that scales well into the late game. It's not completely over for them just yet. It still is a very scary game state, but we're going to get a replay of exactly how BLG can screw this up. On looking for the engage, just completely whiffs it. Just no wall to bind on the hook shot. Gets completely taken down. It's a good ult from Parukia, but not exactly the engage you're looking for in that instance. And
Watching
Shun, unfortunately,
and
at this
on.
point, oh no. Dash into this corner roll. Not great.
I cannot believe my eyes just witnessed that. That you know, that happened. That happened.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, BLG were winning that first top esports game with about a 7,000 gold lead, a little bit more than that, and they lost. So I'm not saying that EDG is top esports, but I'm also not saying that BLG can't lose with a massive lead.
Mazel, we've both been watching the LPL for long enough to know that no lead is unthrowable. It is never impossible.
Why Baron and Dragons exist.
Exactly. You've got those objective bounties coming up. You got Chem Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. That is Soul for BLG. That's why they have so much pressure here on the bottom side of the map. EDG looking to try and control this space, but they could be walking into a death trap.
And this is what we laid out from draft. This is the exact position that BLG want to be in. They want to poke, they want to find a little bit of a mistake, and they want to capitalize on it. They haven't moved over Wenbo just yet, but the poke from Viper will start to land. He's going to get some mana back as well here, so he can just continue throwing these bouncy bombs over the wall.
Yeah, you gotta see how the setup ends up going. Wenbo's chunked.
Woo! He cannot be getting caught like that. True Shot Barrage goes way wide from lead. On is on the flank of a sentry, but EDG just have no wards, so they have no idea where he is. He's been waiting patiently. They have control ward in the front bush there. Dragon is focused by EDG. This is the position that BLG want to be in. TP coming back in. Wenbo's going to have the big shield here. On goes straight in, but the focus should be the Dragon. Shun needs to finish it off. It's going to be taken here by DJ as they do deny the Soul. ZDZ's running for the hills. Parukia has to flash. ZDZ's flash as well. Wenbo can't chase him down. EDG get the job done. It cost JJ his life, but they deny the Soul from BLG.
It's a 1-for-1, and you get the Dragon. That's just ultimately a win for EDG. I say that, but BLG immediately moving to the Baron. Oh, and Wenbo
misses the combo there, but still
he's
stops
stopping
the
backs. They're going to be able to get this.
No way they're able to do this. They can't do it. What are they doing?
No Shun's going to die.
Shun, you're going to die. This is a professional game of League of Legends.
He's going to be able to heal up just enough.
This is one of the best teams in the LPL.
It's
okay,
crazy.
They're gonna give it.
BLG, yeah, they're just giving it over. It's a free Baron. You know, I was gonna say that play is pretty good for EDG, but Wenbo actually doing a great job to keep the chase up and stop the backs. Not that it really would have mattered in the end, but definitely delays a lot of time for BLG to get back out on the map and be able to take that pretty securely, and ultimately ends up being a small win for them as they pick up the Baron, and they still have that Soul potentially on the table in 4 minutes. Knight waiting for
I can't
Rumble.
believe they just got the Baron, and that's just gonna...
Oh, jeez.
What did I just see? What? His health bar went from 1,000 to 0 instantaneously. Oh, man. Knight is just picking them apart here. They have the Baron, and that lead's about to get a whole heck of a lot bigger.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay on this play. I really hate this setup for BLG. I think it's just way too overcomplicated. On goes in by himself. It's a great disengage by Jeje onto Shun. Not only does he stop the initial Q engage coming in from the Lee Sin, but then he immediately ults him so he can get that free smite. Yes, you trade your Skarner, but 1-for-1 and being able to escape here should theoretically be okay. At this point, the chase going down onto BLG is really important because, of course, stopping those backs is important. And now Wenbo. Man, this guy is just getting fed in terms of being able to take these towers over and over again as Ziggs is pushing.
This is exactly the bread and butter of this comp, though, man. They've finally assigned both the Ziggs and the Jace to the same lane. You can see exactly how that pays dividends. He's going to just move over. He can satchel charge this one again. So that will be 2 turrets back-to-back, 2 tier 2s, and they're going to continue pushing with the Baron buff still up and on them for 1 minute and 20 seconds.
There is nothing scarier in the entire game than Baron buffed Jace Ziggs. It's just like impossible to stop that push under almost any circumstances we see coming in onto the bottom side here. Knight. Oh, On's overextended.
Yeah, he's okay for now. He's able to hook shot out, but will have to back away. It's a bit unfortunate for BLG. I think On's kind of just been feeling himself on the Camille this time around. Somehow gonna still get away with that win rate. Obviously being 6-7, maybe a little bit more after this one. But still very, very fun League of Legends being played by BLG. Kind of trying to test their muscle here a little bit more. Shun's going to go in for the invade. Still a lot of time left till that next dragon. EDG need to be wary of that. They need to get some vision down early.
Oh, no.
And they need to figure out how to approach this fight because now they realize Shun is on the back end of the fight and ZDZ is just getting 100 to 0'd again. Sonic Wave does go a little bit wide, but Shun's going to try to slow him down and he does end up getting the solo bolo for Shun's Lee Sin. 7-1 in the game.
EDG just not respecting the engage.
Oh, Viper with a beautiful flash gets out of that engage, and Shun comes with the safeguard to save the day on. You can look for more here. He's on 3 items now. He is extremely powerful with the Death Dance completed. Knight's just been farming up in the side lane. I feel like Knight's been playing a PvE game this time.
Of all of the champions in this game to completely dominate a side lane with Jace and Ziggs, it's actually just been the Rise that's consistently been able to split push and get all of that tower gold throughout all of this. Just an insane showcase from BLG on how to control the map. Now On, definitely playing a little bit for fun right now. That's not the first time in this game that Viper has saved his life, but you know what? This Camille's level 11. I'm sure she's feeling pretty darn good about herself. Most Camille's don't even get to that point in the game. They just stop at level 9 and just kind of chill out and just ult people for the rest of the game, so I'm sure On's definitely feeling a bit spicy right now.
We do have the idea that finally catches up a little bit to Shun, has his 3rd item, but Hex Drinker did get completed for Shun, so he's going to stay pretty far ahead of that one. We did get 3.5 items now for Leave because he just, okay, 4 items. I was about to say, that was weird. Yeah. He just had a random BF sword in his inventory. Now does have 4 items, and he's actually hit that precipice ahead of Viper. That's going to feel pretty good.
Definitely going to be nice to be able to grab that 4th item. Viper definitely no slouch, though, on the other side. Death Cap is basically an item and a half for Ziggs in terms of the way that that kit works, and EDG might be suffering that as they could potentially be in a really bad spot here.
Oh, Bulldog missing the scatter of the week. That's tough. That's one of your main deflecting tools against BLG. Doesn't look like they want to take the bait here now, though. Gotta think of Leave in these fights. He's got to get damage down. If he's not hitting Mystic shots, then it is all over. Knight looking. He would be on vision if he comes through that tri-bush, but I don't know if the vision matters. They just have the surround here, and the TP's not going to come in fast enough. Leave is down. He is not even going to flash. He is out of the fight, and how many times have we seen that before? Parukia tries to go for Knight, but he's just too damn tanky, and ZDZ can't stand the might of the golden left hand. Wenbo gets his own kill here. Jeje stuck in the midst of BLG as Shun just looking to finish the job here. Bulldog goes down. Jeje trying to run down Wenbo, but gets to the sky and take it down. The BLG emotes reign supreme. A 10,000 gold lead for Bilibili Gaming.
Bilibili Gaming are going to dominate game number 1. They're going to crack open this base, and they could potentially be looking to end here at 30 minutes. Who needs the soul when you can have the base? That is definitely the goal here. BLG might just take both, as pings are eventually coming down with Viper not willing to risk the entire game on this push. That is a 12k gold lead, though, and once again, it's Knight and it's Shun who are able to step up and dominate that fight. Soul acquired here as we're going to get the replay. Knight is on this gigantic flank because he's been pushing the mid lane in this entire time. Shun is super aggro. The kick immediately coming down onto Lee with On comboing well, and there's no escape. You run right into a rise if you flash over the wall. Bulldog popping that ultimate onto the Jace just to try to get any damage down. Doesn't really matter at that point. There's just no way you can kill.
Does so much damage.
Live.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well.
Don't tell me it's going to be another Kali play. All right, he's dead. He's dead. He's double tap. Anybody want to double tap? Make sure he's gone. All right, no, they're just gonna walk away. Yeah, I was just about to praise Knight, so I'm glad I don't cast or curse him. But dude's just been literally cosplaying Rise. He's just traveling all over the map. If there's kills there, so be it. He's already in the vicinity. He'll take them. He's just kind of been a worldwide member. He's just been walking around, having a good time.
He is, but this is a 4v5 now with him dead around this Baron. EDG are going to potentially try and flip this whole game. Bulldog's health bar.
Yeah, you just can't. The poke. Oh, the BLG are in a weird position. They have the poke coming in from 2 different sides, and that just means Viper can't really get to the fight.
Shun.
The Mega Inferno Bomb's going to come through, but doesn't do too much. Now they got some poke coming back. Wenbo goes back in. He's going to go down, but he won't go down without a fight. Does get one. Shun now going back in again. Tries to use the wall, or at least tries to use the ward to jump to. Viper now in the melee range of JJ, but he still has the damage. The BLG emotes go up again, and you know that's an ace. It wasn't clean, but it was dirty, and that's just how BLG like it.
A disrespectful fight from BLG that ends a complicated and dominant game from them. They look as good as you could ask for in game number 1.
Shun's Lee Sin continues to demand respect. This guy has been on a tear, just like our other top junglers on top teams, but he on the Lee Sin is terrifying.
I mean, honestly, kind of a disgusting game from BLG in a lot of different ways, both good and bad. I mean, both versions of that word in this particular instance. Just, they destroyed this. They completely controlled the map. They played the side lanes as beautifully as you can. I mean, this was classic BLG. This is them taking every fight that they want to take and just running the entire game because of it.
Yeah, and again, Knight, just a world traveler walking around. There's kills, there's turrets, there's other stuff to grab. He just gets far ahead. Nobody can kill him, and it becomes very difficult for EDG to kind of put it together. Got to give some shout-outs to JJ. Felt like he actually had some decent setups for EDG, but how many times... I know that I'm kind of memeing this. Please don't take it super seriously, but with just a little bit of seriousness. How many times are we going to see Leave die with Flash? How many times? How many times is going to happen? It happens like at least once a series.
I want to be very clear. If you're playing Ezreal in the Lee Sin, and you have Flash, and you have your Arcane Shift, you should never die first. Ever. Like, under any circumstance, it should not be possible for you to be dying first. And yet, in multiple fights in this game, Leave was caught out first. His positioning this split in particular has been egregious, I think is a good word for it. And, you know, I'm sure Shun was pretty happy to take advantage of it, but you can't even, I mean, you can barely, you know, count on one hand the amount of times that he was caught out in that game, in a team fight, in a 5v5, just being too far forward. Not to mention the amount of times he just ate a J Shock Blast at the start of the fight anyways. Like, it just wasn't a very good game, I think, from the main carries of EDG. And unfortunately for this team, that has absolutely been a running theme for them.
Yeah. And that's the troubling thing. I struggle to see EDG winning a game in this series if it's going to continue like this, but that's the beautiful thing about it. It all resets after this as pretty consistent damage for EDG. At least they had that going for them. Viper, it's a lot. That's a big number. It's a
big number. Big number for Viper. Knight only doing 16.2k. He maybe did more to towers.
He was a world traveler.
Yeah, right.
He was visiting all the restaurants he wanted to visit. All right, if there happened to be some extra money lying around, he picked it up. But, you know, give him a break.
Hey, I got no problem with the game the Knight played. I have absolutely no issue with the Rise going, hey, if you're gonna let me take every tower in the game, I think I'll just do that. I also want to point out, you're right about Jeje. highest damage on his team as Skarner. That's not usually a pretty good sign.
Not good.
That's not how things should be going here with Syndra and with Ezreal and with Rumble. That's really not a good feeling, but you know, unfortunately, this has kind of been the story for EDG. Jeje has been setting things up relatively well. The early games have been okay. This was the case with Xiaohao as well, where the junglers, they're having good early games. They're playing relatively well. They're getting advantages, and the lanes are just in such a bad state that there's really no way to play a lot of these skirmishes out.
Yeah, there really wasn't. We're going to take a look back at this, and unlike the last series where very one-sided on paper, but LGD were giving us a little bit of life, I feel like EDG was harder to spot in this game, number one. They had some fights, a couple in those mid games, chunking down the lead from like 8,000 down to like 5,000, 4,000. But then the couple fights happened, and BLG ended up at plus 10,000 over them with the Baron buff and everything like that, and it just becomes really difficult to play the game. So I think some things that EDG can take away from this one is I did like the ease of execution. I will say they got an extremely powerful draft and weren't able to turn it into a win, and so now they lose a lot of that draft capital moving forward.
I will say I agree that the draft is very strong, and I think if I trusted EDG more, this would be a draft that I liked a lot more. My big problem for EDG in this game is they really kind of sacrificed any sort of mid-game priority to make sure that they had that ease of execution. And I think that that's just a scary thing to do when you're the weaker team or when you're the underdog in a series. I don't really think you ever want to be the team in this case where you have the team fighting comp and the enemy team has a lot of side lane pressure, because the control is completely out of your hands. You're kind of hoping for BLG to not use their advantages in the mid game, to kind of let the game go long. You know, that engage, that kick is just gorgeous. I mean, why is Leave there? But you know, we all have our vices, and Leave's vice is of course frontlining on his marksman as he gets absolutely destroyed by the frontline here of BLG.
I want to see that fight 4 more times in a row and figure out what the hell that man was thinking.
Yeah,
being melee range with his Skarner as an Ezreal. Oh,
well, he felt
God,
bad. Skarner was the
man.
damage dealer, so he must have been the tank that game. That's the trade-off. I guess.
Still had flash, Kman. He had flash. Oh God, I'm gonna crash out. It's so sad because I believed that Leave was gonna be this next carry, and I just feel like we're running out of opportunities for him to show that, and it's very tragic. But when it goes down like this, like there's no excuses, unfortunately. You can't just be like, oh, it's just had a bad game. It just happens every single game or every series. That being said, who do you got for player of the match, or at least player of the game here for game number 1?
I think this is an incredibly difficult decision to make. I think this was a BLG team effort.
No,
Sean,
no.
I think was
yes.
Sean was just he's so stylish, so stylish on that Lee Sin. He had such a nice KP overall, and I believe that he absolutely had the effort today in game number 1 to be that MVP.
Yeah, really good stuff. Again, Lee Sin should be respected from Shun. I know it's not always the big premiere that everybody thinks about in his champion pool, but I think this year he has absolutely deserved some of that respect. His 5th MVP. When you're on a team with the likes of Knight and Viper, I think it can be a little bit difficult, but Shun, my GOAT, will end up getting that one. And that's it for game number 1 of our final series. I'm just hoping EDG can find a little bit of life left in them here, as they are looking down the barrel of a very, very tough 2-0 against BLG, if it is to be so. We'll see you on the other side of this break for game number 2 of this series.